Hello everybody and welcome back to Sprocket. Today we're going to be looking at the second vehicle from the last poll because the results were just so close that I felt it was essentially just a tie. So we are going to be taking a look at my build of the mouse. I actually recorded this before and realized that I was going to take a look at the tank I designed to quote-unquote kill this thing, and then I never did. So what did I do with this tank? Well, it's essentially as close to a copy of the mouse that I could possibly make. It's missing a few things, the little corners that are angled, which were the welds for adding on. The real mouse, these sides actually aren't just solid slabs like a lot of people might think they are. They're actually welded on side skirts, and that's why if you look underneath here, this portion of the mouse, I might not have the thickness exactly correct here, but it's 80 millimeters, and this side skirt, well, what I'm simulating here is actually the whole side of the mouse was 80 millimeters, and then it had a 100 millimeter plate, basically just a plate welded on it that created that side skirt, creating 180 millimeters upper and then 80 millimeters in a little gap down here, although it would still be 180 because of this plate. There is like a small gap I think you can hit. World of Tanks players, or War Thunder players I guess, might know that you can shoot through this spot at an angle and you'll clip into that 80 millimeter plate, and that's one of the best weak spots to hit with the mouse. But in real life, would it have actually been an issue? Probably not. Moving on to the turret, this is probably the most glaring flaw in my build currently, is the fact that there is no way of having the front be curved, sadly. I tried, I really did. I was like, oh, if I use this curved stowage plate and I stick it up here, I can put one on either side and it'll kind of... Oh, you can't rotate it. Yeah. Well, it is what it is. I kind of just simulated the Mouse Term 2, which would have been the Mouse 2's turret, which, yes, there was in fact an idea for a Mouse 2. From what I could tell, and from the little bit of reading, I'll eventually do a video on it, I'm sure. It was essentially just a mouse hull with a different turret, but more than likely it would have had a lot of changes done to it because it was trying to restart the mouse program from what I remember. Don't quote me on that. Go check out the Tank Encyclopedia article on it. It's going to be a lot better than me trying to remember something that I skimmed at one point. But like I said, I plan to do a video on it in the future. Enough of me jabbering on about random tank details that the majority of you don't care about though. Let's take this thing and see what she does. The answer to that is not very much. I'm just going to spoil it for you now. It peaks at about 4 miles per hour because not suspension. The transmission is just completely jank and I can't get it to work properly. I tried adjusting it a bunch like I did with the Ferdinand. I got the Ferdinand one working like a charm, but the mouse one, I don't know if it's just the weight or if it's just the fact that this tank is horribly underpowered, which it would have been horribly underpowered in real life as well. But I just can't get it to work. I think the only reason that the mouse in real life could be made to work is because they use the electric drives. I think that's the only way that you can get the torque needed to move something of this size and weight at the speed that they had it moving at. Maybe if I could figure out the torque ratings for the gearing and everything, I could possibly get it to work better than this, but I don't know. I'm not really willing to spend like 10 hours trying to fine-tune a Pixel Tank's transmission for a 10-minute video. I apologize for not being so thorough. If I ever figure it out, I will be sure to make a follow-up video to this to show you guys how to make transmissions for your super heavy tanks, but I think the main issue is just the engine power and the fact that there's still a lot of tweaking to the transmissions that needs to be done. Enough blathering on about that though. I made a special little tank that we're going to test this thing against. This tank that I designed, I call it my TD test, a very original name. It's essentially just a tank destroyer with the maximum amount of penetration possible in a tank. It has 205 millimeters, I think. 205, 206. So if anything in this game is going to be capable of killing a mouse, it's going to be that thing. Spoiler alert, it really can't kill me. But I don't know if I can even kill it, because I think that the upper plate on this thing might be too thick. Oh, maybe not. I guess not. I really don't know why, and maybe one of you in the comments will know why this thing doesn't work for me. Not the mouse, the TD test. Because I've used this thing multiple times, and as you can see, I've got the driver's viewport there, the gunner there, so I have all the crew in the turret. But for some reason, when I control the thing, it won't move. But the AI can somehow drive it. So I don't know that must be a bug, it has to be. But yeah, that's pretty much all I can show you with the mouse. There's not really a ton else to show, and I don't really think there's any need to drive it all the way over to do a speed test because it's just not that fast. So to keep this video from being like 5 minutes long, I'm going to go ahead and what I was going to do originally and forgot to do before I stopped recording is showcase what I did with that little tank destroyer, just to give you guys a little something extra for tuning in, because I know that I've done a lot of stuff on the mouse lately, so it might be getting a little boring for some of you. So what did I do with this tank and what are the stats of it? This was basically my attempt to make a mouse killer. It's pretty similar in style to like a Soviet tank destroyer. That's kind of what I was modeling it after. Almost looks a little bit like an Su-130 PM for any of you World of Tanks players, just with a closed top turret. So what I did for the turret is I armored it up pretty well, 130 millimeters. Maybe I should slope it a little bit. I do have room to do that, so I might do that in the future. With the hull, we have some pretty strong armor. It's very sloped, so I didn't actually need to make it very thick. Looks like there's a little belt there that I might need to increase, but overall, it's only 60 tons, so fairly light, still pretty heavy because of the armor. I could probably get it down once I tweak it. This is just a test vehicle though, really. I was just trying to see what the maximum amount of penetration, and you can see 206. If I slide the gun caliber up at all, it starts to go down. If I slide the shell velocity or shell length, there's basically, from what I can tell, there is absolutely no way that you can make this gun penetrate any more armor than it currently can. Maybe there is. If there is, let me know. But I don't think I can make the gun barrel any longer than this. Yeah, with the armor thicknesses and stuff, you can put in whatever number you want. Like, let's say with the front mid strip, I want this to be 600 millimeters. I can enter that in, and now it's 600 millimeters. Well, I guess that one's not 500. Or which one did I just change? Oh, maybe it maxes at 500. But anyways, you can increase it higher than the maximum of the slider. Let's just put that back down. But yeah, I mean, it's not a bad little tank destroyer, but like I said, when I get into the thing, it just won't drive, and I don't know why. It's very, very strange. Enough of me blathering on about some random tank I designed, though. If you guys did enjoy this video and you want to see more tanks sort of like this as opposed to ones that are like this, be sure to let me know down in the comments, because I have a new series that's going to be following this video up eventually. I'm not sure exactly when I'll get the first episode out, but you guys are going to determine what I build. And the way that you do that, if you didn't see the last video, which I recommend you go and check out, it's my one on the M6. I'll leave an end card, and I'll put something up in the corner right now so you can check that video out. But essentially, you guys can leave comments down below with a list of requirements for a vehicle. There's one that I've already gotten from the last video that was absolutely awesome, and I am definitely going to be doing it. I think I left a heart on the comment, so if your comment got a heart, you're more than likely the person that I'm going to be doing their requirements for, because it was exactly what I was looking for. But essentially, I want you guys to give me requirements for a tank, whether that be the width of the tank, the maximum weight, all that sort of thing. Imagine that you are a government or a military organization, and you are trying to order from Cone Industries. I am the tank designer, and you want to purchase a tank from me, and you want exactly these set of requirements. You want the tank to be able to do this, 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 and this. list those out in a comment, post it down below, and I might use your thing in a future video. I could also use some suggestions on a name for that series if you have an idea. I don't know any, I don't have very good things for names. I mean, just look at the names of my channels. They're not great, especially the older ones. If you've been here for a while, they were exceptionally great. But the only thing that I could really think of so far was something like I Build Your Designs or something very bland. So if you have any ideas, do leave those below. I'd also appreciate if you hit the like on this video if you did enjoy it. And as with this video, what am I saying? As with all the other tanks that I've shown in this series, I will eventually post these all to the workshop whenever that's actually added for the game. So if you guys want to use my designs, I will be eventually putting those all up for you guys to grab. But enough of me talking. I'm sure I've wasted enough of your time for today. I will see you in the next video.